Hi everybody, welcome to Catholic Charities Works, our monthly program where we talk about our programs and services offered here at Catholic Charities of Central Colorado. I'm Bree Reimer-Baum, Director of Advancement here, and tonight I'm so honored to have Claudia Brett Golden with us. She is our Director of Family Immigration Services. Welcome.
Thank you, Bree, for the opportunity to talk about the work we do.
Absolutely. So tell me, what do Family Immigration Services, what do you guys do?
Well, so Family Immigration Services is part of Catholic Charities, and due to our program, Catholic Charities has been a recognized organization, recognized by the U.S. Department of Justice for more than a dozen years. What we do is we provide low-cost representation to our neighbors who are immigrants, and we help them figure out first if they have a legal path or a legal process that would help them to stay in the United States if that's what they want to do, or to reunite with their family. And then if we find that they're a good fit and that we can provide them with services and they do have a legal path, then we work side by side with them to help them through that process, which can take many years or even decades.
For sure. So tell me about your amazing team that you're a part of.
Oh, well, I am part of an incredibly amazing team. So as part of that DOJ recognition, we are able to hire what are called accredited representatives. And so those are people who are not attorneys, but DOJ recognizes them for all the extensive in-depth training that they've done in immigration law, as well as their on-the-job training, and gives them an accreditation, which lets them do things that otherwise you would have to be an attorney to do. And so we are fortunate to have 3 accredited immigration counselors. We also have a very talented administrative assistant who manages our office and our intake and our many phone calls. And then we have me, and I'm an attorney, and I have had the honor of directing this program for just under a year.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so tell me about this incredibly difficult and, complicated work that you guys do every single day here.
Well, thanks, Bree. So one thing I don't know if all our listeners know is that a visa represents kind of a permission to be in the United States. And there are non-immigrant visas for people who come for a shorter time, and immigrant visas, which are basically permanent residency that allow people to stay on.
Okay.
There are many different kinds of visas that we help people obtain. A lot of our work is for crime victims. Congress recognized many years ago that without some types of protections for immigrant crime victims, our whole community would be less safe. And so we have 3 different visa types that we help clients apply for. One is for victims of domestic violence. One is for victims of a variety of very serious crimes. It's called a U visa, and to qualify for that, the applicant has to be cooperating ongoing with law enforcement. And then we have a T visa, which is for victims of human trafficking, which can all too often also impact immigrants. We also sometimes have immigrants who are already in immigration court, but they do have a defense. They do have some reason that they could stay in the country. And so we go ahead and we represent them through that whole court process and even on appeal. We represent special children who are eligible for special immigrant juvenile status. We help people obtain that immigrant visa, that permanent residency, and then we help them go to the next step and obtain citizenship. We represent so-called dreamers who apply to renew their DACA. And then we have family petitions. So a family petition is for a permanent resident or a U.S. citizen who has family either in the United States or abroad who they want to bring in as permanent residents themselves. The law allows permanent residents to do that for their spouses, their children, and their adult unmarried children. And it allows U.S. citizens to do that for those same family members, as well as certain other family members like parents, siblings, and even adult married children. So that's a complicated process, and we help people through it both within the United States and at consulates all around the world. And at the end of the process, we are able to reunite families and strengthen the community.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you for that hard work. That's, That's really detailed, and I'm sure at the end of the day, super rewarding. So thank you.
Absolutely. It's incredibly rewarding.
So tell me about the clients that we're serving. Where do they come from? What countries are we seeing?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because we are standing in front of one of my favorite features in our office, which is this world map. And you can see it's covered with flags. So in our dozen years, every time we represent somebody from a new country, we put a flag in that country. So some of these countries have one flag, and that might represent thousands of immigrants we've represented from that country. And some have one pin, and it might represent just one immigrant. But just to give you another idea, over the past 12 months alone, we've represented people from 44 different countries over 6 different continents.
That's crazy. That's an insane amount.
It's pretty great.
That's awesome. So tell me more about last year, how many people we helped, and what your team did.
Well, in 2020, we helped almost 650 immigrants. Many of those had a consultation, which is where we meet with them and we go through in depth their life history, their family situation, and we try to figure out, we ask questions designed to get at what process they might qualify for, or what defense or relief they might have. Of those, we opened 221 new cases, and we also continued to represent more than 250 people from prior years. As I was mentioning earlier, our cases can take years and sometimes, unfortunately, even decades to move through.
For sure. I know when my grandfather was trying to get his U.S. citizenship, it took 5-6 years just for him to be able to take that citizenship test. So
Yep,
it is a long process.
It's a really long process. One of the most rewarding things that we do is for people like your grandfather, where we might represent them on an earlier process, and then many years later they might come back and we represent them and help them get their citizenship and finally cross that finish line.
Very cool. I know that moment where they become a citizen is just, it's so much, it's full of pride for everybody involved in that.
It's so true, Bree. Yeah, it's great.
So tell me, for those at home that are watching, how can they get involved in this work with you guys?
Well, anybody who wants to volunteer can reach out to us, and if we don't have a particular fit for that person, we can also refer them to other agencies in the community and other partners who work with our immigrant neighbors. Our particular needs here in Family Immigration Services right now, we could really use somebody who kind of understands computers and office processes and can help us scan and organize some of our voluminous client files. We also can always use bilingual volunteers, especially if they speak Spanish. And we're always welcoming attorneys and law students who might want to help out as well.
Wonderful.
In addition, of course, financial donations are always welcome. We have a limited staff. It's a great staff, but we can't serve everybody. And it's really heartbreaking when we have to turn people away, especially when we know that they might not be able to get the services they need somewhere else. And for some people, it's really a life or death situation.
Yeah, that's very true. So when you want to support Claudia and her team in this important work that they're doing, you can go online right now to ccharities.cc.org/donate and make a donation right there online to Family Immigration Services, and really, just help to make our community a better place for everybody. So thank you for joining us tonight, Claudia.
Thank you, Bree.
This has been so great.
It's been really nice to talk to you.
So good to have you. And thank you for all the important work that you guys are all doing every single day. This is awesome. All right, well, join us next month when we feature another program and service here at Catholic Charities of Central Colorado. Have a good night.